And just like that river I've been running.
I can remember before we walked out the door, my mother said, when you get in the car, you sit to the back of the seat and do not put your face out the window. I can always remember that. We came in from the rear of the building. I could hear the noise. I couldn't understand what they were saying. I saw police on horseback, holding the crowd back. And the only thing I could think of was a parade was coming. I wanted to know why I had to go to school on Mardi Gras and everybody else got to watch the parade. And my mama said no, that wasn't the case.
Well, we're here to unveil the 4th marker on the Civil Rights Trail, an incredible school where so much history took place. Those 3 little girls that went to school here on that day, let in by the police, changed history. And so to unveil the marker here on our trail around Louisiana as we join the other southern states is a special moment.
It was a busy day, but I mean, it was a strange day for 6-year-olds. You know, we had no clue what we were about to embark on. And when I drove up, it was just people everywhere, you know, and the only thing I could relate it to was that a parade was coming, because I knew a parade passed on that street. And I could see police on horseback and holding the crowd back, and I'm thinking, well, parade's coming, you know. But my mother said, no, that's not the case. When we entered the building, we were asked to take a seat, which was on a bench outside of the principal's office. And it was like half the day that we waited until we were really accepted to a classroom. And first day was a normal day. When we got here, it was a normal day. This had a full body of students. We entered the classroom, and by 3 o'clock that day, the parents had pulled all the white students out. They were gone, you know, so that left just the 3 of us in this entire building.
We were able to not only get these markers put on the National Civil Rights Trail, but because of our efforts, they gave us 2 seats on the national board for our team to be on as we recreate and add to the National Civil Rights Trail. Surely Louisiana will be a force to be reckoned with on that national trail now, as before we had only 1 location in New Orleans on that national trail. So it's going to add some real new spots that we'll be able to be proud of here in Louisiana.
That time, this entire building was covered with brown art paper, the teachers called it, 30 inches wide, every window. And I'm the 5th generation funeral director, so it looked like a tomb in this building. The 3 little girls, no one else.
We were comfortable, not realizing why, not understanding why. We were really comfortable. We had a very good 1st grade teacher, gave us an excellent 1st grade education. She was more motherly than a teacher. We didn't realize how protected we were, because we couldn't come in the yard to play. We couldn't eat in the cafeteria. We couldn't roam around the building. You know, we stayed in one area, but we were fine. We had the 3 of us, and it was planted in our heads to stick together, you know, so we created a bond that's unbreakable today.
I taught Gail for 2 months, the beginning of school, for 2 months. And the only day she was absent is the day that she was tested by Orleans Parish School System. So when I realized Gail was one of the students tested, I went to the house to speak to her mother, and the mother was literally shaking. The father was anxious for her to take on this role, but the mom was deathly afraid. My own parents warned me when they found out I came around here to this building and said, do you know that you could have been followed in that little red car with the connections in the city? I was too young to realize the danger that I might have been in.
I know it bothered a couple people to talk about this painful time in history and just use it for tourism. So we put our team together and came up with what we did with Homework Louisiana, Uniquely Louisiana, tools that can be downloaded by school or at home to learn more about Louisiana's unique places. We're going to take that same platform and put together an educational tool that'll be able to be downloaded in schools, and we'll bring that to the school boards after we're able to put it together to make sure we've got all the content right. But it'll be a great educational tool so everyone can learn the Civil Rights Trail through Louisiana.
Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is a great and dear friend of mine, and you know, I always enjoy his upbeat attitude. He's like the ever-ready bunny rabbit. He's always positive and enthusiastic, especially when it comes to promoting the welfare and the improvement of the quality of life of people of our state. And it is that enthusiasm which leads us to the place we find ourselves today. He was inspired to create the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail after seeing a presentation on the U.S. Civil Rights Trail at a tourism conference in Arizona. He shared this story with me 3 years ago at a New Orleans Rotary Club event. And he told me that he noticed while many southern states had their own civil rights trail exhibit, Louisiana did not. As too often is the case, we were pulling, you know, up the rear. So in January 2019, Billy set in motion, I call him Billy, by the way, Billy set in motion a program to shed light on the role our state played in the civil rights movement in the country. And he hosted a meeting with scholars, historians, and community leaders to discuss the creation of the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail. And from there, he assembled a creative and strategic team of professionals that traveled 3,000 miles across the state, held 22 statewide meetings to hear the stories of the people on the front lines during the 50s and 60s civil rights movement in the state of Louisiana. And after 2 years of research, the LouisianaCivilRightsTrail.com website launched in February of last year. And now in one place, you can find rich stories and compelling multimedia content from the era. And now, here we are today, installing interpretive markers at historically significant sites around the state. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Lieutenant Governor, the Honorable Billy Nungesser.
Thank you, Norman, and thank all of you for being here today. It's been a long journey. I've got to thank a few people. Sharon Calcote from the Department of Tourism. Doug Bourgeois couldn't be with us today. He's recovering from surgery, the head of the tourism office. And it was Doug sitting next to me in Arizona at a conference when everybody was bragging on their civil rights trail. And I leaned over to him and I said, "Do we have a civil rights trail?" He said, "I don't think so." And I left the conference embarrassed. And then to come home and assemble a team of our tourism folks and Glenda McKinley, incredible team, job you've done. And to learn. And I say learn because I didn't learn this in school. I didn't know about what took place at this school or the bus boycott. And to learn as I go around, and Norman, the job you did to champion this around the state has been incredible. To lead all of these meetings. He didn't tell you, he traveled all those miles. So it wasn't just the other team. He was there for every meeting and has really done an incredible job. And I tell you, Ernest, who designed these, Glenda's son, you know, they came back with 3 designs and they said, "Which one do you like?" I said, "Which one do you like?" and just to put the color larger than life and to tell the story, and where you can go up and put your phone and download that video and learn the whole story. And it's just been an incredible journey for me, and to know we're going to be able to join the other southern states. And as a matter of fact, I was handed all these notes. Today, they announced 9 new Louisiana markers will be on the National Civil Rights Trail. So we've added 9. We only had 1 when this journey started. You know, it was really special to see Mr. Jones when he walked outside and saw the marker, and I saw the tear that he was recognized for the efforts, the courage, the bravery he showed back then. Couldn't imagine 17 days out of law school filing a suit in those times. But to see that tear in his eye, made me cry. And to be here, say, with you today, to know and to see that story. I keep remembering you saying you thought it was a Mardi Gras parade. You saw the police on horseback. To know the history that took place here and your journey. And I'm so glad we were able to recognize those efforts while you're still here with us and so many other heroes around the state. And I know you're not on the program, but if I could ask you to come up and say a few words. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think it'd be special. And what a great job you've done here. We look forward to many more next week.
But I just really want to, I just don't know how to thank everyone for this. It took more than me to, don't think you're going to stand back there, Jonathan, because I see you, to put this project together. And I knew when I got to the person that told me that your vision could be done, it was my time. And my vision turned into a reality, and I am so glad. But Olympic Community Development was my beginning of this project, and without them, stand up, I don't know what I would have done, and they're still with me. And I hope to one day bring that parade back to St. Claude Avenue. That might be my next project. But I want to thank everybody. Then we've finally met the right contractor, and I got to say thank you to him, because this building wouldn't be looking like this without Mr. Chris Walker. And of course, my board members, of course, and just without everybody here, I don't know, but I just want to thank the Lieutenant Governor's office for allowing us to be on this trail. We are so grateful for that. You just don't know how many people we've gone to that didn't know the history of what happened at this building. And it takes a lot that I don't like talking about to tell them the story. And but we're here. We will have some racial healing in this building that will start a new horizon. Thank y'all.
I would like to begin by acknowledging our leadership here. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Chelsea Napoleon, our Clerk of Court, State Representative Candace Newell, Honorable Terry Love, and Council Member Oliver Thomas. New Orleans has been, throughout many years, at the forefront of our national civil rights movement. Our city has multiple markers on the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail because of our role that our people have played in desegregating public schools as part of the civil rights movement. The history of McDonogh, number 19, exhibits the profound story of how the school helped to shape American history. Today we commemorate McDonogh 3 for their brave willingness to desegregate the New Orleans public school system. Now, in May of 2020, just last year, we celebrated the Chase family's contributions to our city's history and their role in the civil rights movement in the Deep South. Today, we will continue a long trail of greatness by paying homage to McDonogh 19 for opening the doors to the eradication of educational discrimination. We are now rightfully recognized as a location for multiple markers along the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail, and the right to equal quality education in this city was unheard of for African Americans until 3 brave little girls changed that dynamic, made history. Today I commend you, Ms. Leona Tate, Gail Etienne, and Tessie Prevost, that I had the opportunity to meet here at the grand opening or the groundbreaking ceremony. And I just commend and congratulate you to what the building has become and what it will become as we all work together in the future. You are true trailblazers and heroes to us all. You led the path to educational equity, which I am a product of. McDonogh 35, McDonogh 39, and Gregory Junior High School. And I can stand here today as a proud beneficiary of the hard work done over the decades to make this a more equitable place to live, thrive, and in the mayor's case, to lead, and in my case, to embrace the culture. Congratulations, and God bless each of us on the continued work ahead. Thank you.
To my Lieutenant Governor, I just want to thank you for being such a champion. And to my good friend, I love you. I'm honored to be here today. And I just was so overwhelmed that you wanted me to say a few words today. Well, first of all, today as we begin the recognition of Black History Month, we're in 2020 at a time when educational thought and study has entered into the political dialogue. And in some areas, sadly, has been politicized without a critical dialogue and understanding. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history, stated his goal in recognizing the contributions of African Americans wasn't to place limitations, but to focus and broaden the nation's consciousness, which is defined as self-awareness or perception. As we unveil the civil rights marker at the site of the former McDonogh 19 Elementary School, we are on historic ground that served in 1960 in New Orleans, Louisiana, as a transformational point in America's journey to broaden its consciousness. 3 young girls, Miss Leona, Miss Tessie, and Miss Gail, whose parents were courageous and willing to be trailblazers at much sacrifice to allow their daughters to integrate in all-white school, much to the dismay of many in the white community. Their parents' courageousness and unselfishness has been passed down to their daughters, who have created a museum and a center for community growth educationally, culturally, and socially at a site where they suffered at the hands of many, but also grew. As we place this marker here today, we thank them. We encourage them to continue their work in the community. And we must continue to tell all generations their story of how in 1960, 3 little girls in New Orleans were the impetus for many of the future civil rights gains. The site of this well-deserved marker is a place where 3 little girls now, or 3 fearless sisters, are daring to dream the fulfilling of the radical imagination of a new generation, as Dr. Woodson envisioned many years ago. Thank you, congratulations. May God continue to bless, and I look forward to this center being a light in this community. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm excited about it being placed here, and I'm, for the attraction that it's going to draw here. We're looking forward to that. I am so grateful to the Lieutenant Governor's office for doing this, and all hats to them. Today's their day.
I was thrilled. To know that it took 61 years for this to come. And we still have a lot to do and a long ways to go.
I know it bothered a couple people to talk about this painful time in history and just use it for tourism. So we put our team together and came up with what we did with Homework Louisiana, Uniquely Louisiana, tools that can be downloaded by school or at home to learn more about Louisiana's unique places. We're going to take that same platform and put together an educational tool that'll be able to be downloaded in schools, and we'll bring that to the school boards after we're able to put it together to make sure we've got all the content right. But it'll be a great educational tool so everyone can learn the Civil Rights Trail through Louisiana.
I feel like a lot of youngsters need to know the history because they don't even know what happened in their own city. I go to a lot of schools and the children are not aware of the history here, and I just want some place for them to see it, somewhere for them to understand it so they can experience what we experienced and then appreciate it a little better.
As a native of this area, what's your reaction as you see the marker?
Well, it kind of gives you goosebumps to see Miss Tate here, to know she as a little girl was led into this school, and because of the police on horseback, she thought it was a Mardi Gras parade. To hear the stories that she tells and to go back in time and be able to speak to someone that's still here makes it so real and special. So we're just fortunate to have people around to tell those stories that live through it.
This historic building has become the Tate, Etienne, and Prevost Interpretive Center. It will be a 3-story multi-use facility that with exhibit space on the first floor and then 25 units of deeply affordable housing on the second and third floors. It's going to be economic revitalization for this community. What we're hoping is that this will be a space where community feels safe to come and learn about the history of the area, as well as to commune and have a space where they can learn and work well with others.
It finally getting the recognition that it deserves. A lot of people just wasn't aware of what had happened here 61 years ago, and it's finally being recognized for what has happened.
How can people get more information?
So LouisianaCivilRightsTrail.com, you can go there, learn more about it as we add these new markers around the state.